What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. Here's a video I didn't think I was going to be making today. So the Lions versus Blues game got cancelled. It's been swapped that they're going to play the Sharks again. So we're going to do another preview video. I've already played the Sharks in this game. For anyone who hasn't seen the preview videos, we chuck a game of rugby on in the background and then we talk about the official teams announced and go through our thoughts on the game. So instead we're just going to put it against a much more difficult team so we don't just play the same team again, make it a bit more interesting in the background. There's going to be an awful lot to talk about in this game, so let's get this game kicked off and underway. Alrighty, we are at the Eagles Stadium today. That's always fun. As we do with these Lions videos, I like to let them run a little bit longer, get a bit more atmosphere going. So here we are in the tunnel. We get a bit of a build-up for it. Of course, I have changed the team again, as we did for most of the videos. We've been changing the team every week, as they do in the official Lions team, so that way we get to build chemistry and the Lions team slowly get stronger in the game. But in terms of the official game, I mean, what on earth's going on here? The Lions were meant to play the Bulls before their game when they played the Sharks for the first time. There was issues with COVID. The Bulls team had issues with COVID, people getting removed from the games and stuff, so the Lions had to come up with a brand new team about 2 hours before the first game versus the Sharks. For anyone who watched the review video I did on that game, there was an awful lot to go through in that, as we see Quentin Prevost, finger to the ear, getting ready for a big game here. So this game was actually not meant to happen. The Lions beat the Sharks very comfortably. I mean, I was surprised to hear that they were going to play them again. Dan Bigger here will kick off to the left just to get this game underway. But so there's going to be a lot to talk through in this one because this game has sort of come out of nowhere. There was talks about whether the Lions team might actually go on to play Georgia because Georgia are currently out there and we're meant to be facing South Africa. It could have been a slightly different team. It would have been an international based team to play rather than a club level team. But it looks like that's not going ahead. The teams have been announced for the Lions and the Sharks teams already. So we guess this game is going to be going ahead on Saturday as Liam Williams goes over for a try. Nice and easy. Who is going to be playing this weekend. So let's start off by talking about the Lions. The Lions are on an absolutely roaring series so far, really. They beat Japan. It was a bit of a tight game, but it was still comfortable in the end. They beat the other Lions team extremely comfortably. No real issues there, bar some of the defensive questioning going on. And then the next game against the Sharks felt like a bit of a demolishing, which is one of the reasons I was so surprised the Sharks have come back in for this game, because I don't really know how this game's going to be a lot different for them. Other than the teams are going to mix up a little bit, the tactics are probably going to be relatively similar. And if anything, the Lions are probably going to put out a stronger team against them. So I don't know how this one's going to go. But we'll talk about the Lions team that's been announced. So, I'll check it on screen for you guys. First thing to note here, Jamie George has taken over as captain, which is a big call. Not someone I really have down as a captain. I'm not sure if he ever done anything at club level in terms of captaincy roles and stuff, but especially at international, you don't really see him taking over. So, big call to have him there taking over. They obviously feel like the forwards are going to be a big part of this game, as they were on Wednesday when they beat the Sharks that game. They loaded up. They went 7-1 on the bench in terms of loading up on those forwards. So they obviously know forwards are going to be a big part of this game. So they probably want to captain in that forward seat. No Ian Henderson this week. So let's start off with this front row. Rory Sutherland, Jamie George and Tig Furlong. There is a bit of a power front row. I wouldn't say any of them are particularly good at running play. I always enjoy watching Tig Furlong run, but he's probably not going to have the same speed as maybe like a Ken Owens or someone once he gets going on the old feet. But this is a power front row, so they're going to look to demolish that scrum. And in all honesty, the Shark scrum held out for a little bit, and then it just felt like that Shark scrum began to collapse around them a little bit. The Lions team just smashing the scrum, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see a very similar thing on Saturday, but we'll see how we get on. Moving towards the locks, Maro Itoje on Johnny Hill. So this is going to be the English combo that we've had in one of the games. It was in the Lions game. It was originally meant to happen. This is the big game that's going to be for the English contingency to even get a look in all honesty. I mean, Ian Henderson's playing very well. I actually thought Adam Beard had a really good game when he was playing. He's obviously managed to step up to that. You've also got Tyke Byrne, as we see a very ridiculous kick. Came off the almost for just a Tipperix try there. Tyg Byrne can also play that 5 position as well. So there's a lot of competition in there. Itoje had good work going on as well, coming on from the bench, to be fair to him. So it'd be a nice start for Maro Itoje and Johnny Hill. Line out between them is certainly going to be very useful, as well as an extra jumper in here now. Tyg Byrne is going to be in this 6 shirt. Hamish Watson and Jack Conan in this back 3. Again, just technical ability of this team. I mean, this is the team now. They've had their game of romping the Sharks team with just pure power. This, for me, feels like a much more technically based team. Maro Itoje, Tyg Byrne, Hamish Watson. We know how good the 3 of them are at the breakdown. It's just going to be a bit of a butchering, to be fair. I'm really surprised this game's going to be going ahead, because I really feel like we could be looking at the same scores as we did in the last game. All 3 of those players really good in terms of the tackling rate and also the breakdown jackling turnover rate. So the Sharks are going to have to compete so much of that breakdown just to hold on to their own ball. And Jack Conan at 8, it'd be nice to see him get a nice little run out. I think people are still favouring Falatau for that 8 shirt. Sam Simmons actually had an alright game. Wasn't quite as lively as a lot of people would have expected it from him. However, far less penalties from him and really managing to just channel his game down a bit, get on with a game of rugby, so it's nice to see. But Jack Conan there at 8, so sure he'll be able to do well. Looking towards the backs, Gareth Davis and Dan Biggar, the Welsh partnership that was originally meant to play this game, who both went out because of the whole positive COVID situation. They have not really announced who was diagnosed with the positive COVID thing. However, for Dan Biggar and Gareth Davis to drop out of the first game to play the Sharks when it made real no impact to just swap Gareth Davis for Ali Price would make me believe that probably Dan Biggar and Gareth Davis were involved in that COVID thing, and yet here we are 2 days later and suddenly they're able to play again. So don't know why they were swapped out for that first Sharks game if it wasn't them, but they'll get their little run out. I'm sure the Welsh partnership will be very happy to be getting on this. Owen Farrell playing very well at fly half, actually. Was very surprised to see him having such a good game. I'm so used to seeing him in that inside centre position, but fly half, working well for him. Ali Price had a good game at scrum half, but I actually feel like Gareth Davis might do well in this sort of game. It was a very open game versus the Sharks, so I think running ability is going to be good for them. Duan van der Merwe's going to keep his left wing. He had a superb game against the Sharks, getting his hat-trick, I believe he ended up with in the end. Just sort of running through them, to be fair, on that wing. I'm sure he'll be looking to do the same again, pretty much. Chris Harris on the inside centre with Elliot Daly. So Elliot Daly retaining that 13 shirt. Chris Harris at 12 is the position I quite like Chris Harris to be in anyway. I think he'll work quite well there. Maybe I actually might see him at 13, but Elliot Daly is primarily going to play that 13 over the fullback position, so it makes sense. Chris Harris adding a nice defensive element in there if you need him to, and Elliot Daly with actually quite a good game. Quite a good game versus the Sharks, so it'll be nice to see him in there again. Anthony Watson taking over that right wing. Big shoes to fill. Zammit proving to be very good in this Lions tour as we see the Sharks back off to their own try line here. This is a big move from them. But Anthony Watson got a lot to prove. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to take part in most of these games so far. So his expectations to be starting some of the South African games is probably going to be lower than people like Zammit or Josh Adams, who's also having a phenomenal tournament. So we'll see how he gets on. Hopefully he can get a bit of live wire, get some tries of his own in. And finally in that fullback position, Liam Williams taking over that fullback. Again, another person who got dropped out because of the whole COVID thing is back in the team, which I don't really know how the COVID thing's working in this Lions bubble, how people can go out with positive tests and come back and be absolutely fine 2 days later. But here we are. So again, Liam Williams, in fact, Josh Adams had a superb game versus the Sharks playing at fullback. So Josh Adams, I feel, is pretty much nailed on now to be getting involved with the South African tours that will be going on. Can we get a little drop goal here? Not quite. So I think Liam Williams got a bit of work cut out. I would imagine Liam Williams or Stuart Hogg will probably take precedent over Josh Adams in that fullback position, but I still think Josh Adams is doing well. So Liam Williams will be looking forward to get back in there. We've got a bunch of subs to do in the background here. How many subs have I got to do here? Loads of people out of energy. Seeing as we're doing replacements, we'll talk about the Lions replacements that are going on. So the replacements: Ken Owens, Wyn Jones, Kyle Sinclair. Again, another solid front three. I think that'll be fine. They'll come on in that second half. I'd say this is pretty much on par. I personally would prefer Ken Owens and Wyn Jones to Rory Sutherland and Jamie George. However, I think I prefer Tyg Furlong to Kyle Sinclair in that position. So I think they're pretty equal in terms of front row ability coming in there. I'm sure that scrum will be absolutely solid for them. Looking a bit further back, Courtney Laws and Sam Simmons and Tom Curry. It's an interesting order to have written these down. So I don't know if they're going to look for Tom Curry to move in at 8 here. Why they've ordered it in that way rather than having Sam Simmonds first, I actually thought maybe they'd have it the other way around. They haven't chosen to do that, so Courtney Lawes can cover your lock and flanker position. Tom Curry can cover both flankers, and number 8, and Sam Simmonds I only know as a number 8, so maybe they've just written it in that order because there was something I wasn't aware of, but they've pretty much got all back 3 covered there. Or in the back row, sorry, and they've also got someone to play lock if they need to. So, good coverage there across the board. And finally, the 2 replacements back. So, they've still gone for the 6-2 split, so still loaded up on those forwards when they needed to. Conor Murray and Finn Russell. So, we're going to see Finn Russell coming back in. He had a good game against the Sharks, actually making a real difference in terms of play style from Owen Farrell. We know what he gets to bring. He's much more of an open player, likes to run with the ball himself. The distributing passes tend to be better, I would say, than Farrell. Farrell plays quite a systematic game. Finn Russell is just a joy to watch because he just picks the most crazy decisions to go for. I think it'll be a good move for him to come on, probably again, same with that sort of 50-minute mark. I think he came on in the last game. And Conor Murray, I think, will be wanting to prove himself a bit. I actually don't know if Conor Murray's landed enough positive notes to get into these South African games. Ali Price is playing well, and Gareth Davis hasn't yet put a foot wrong, I don't think, in any of the games I'm seeing him. So hopefully he'll be getting in there. Conor Murray, of course, now the actual Lions captain for the tour, so you'd hope he'd make it in, but yeah, I still think this is a strong Lions team. I still think there's a lot of positives for them to work through here. I think the Sharks are going to have their work cut out. Do I think it's as strong as the team that played them last time? I think it's a very different team. The team chemistry in the last game I didn't think was going to be quite as good as the team that's playing this week. But I think maybe the actual terms of power play, I would maybe say was better in the team that played on Wednesday. However, the technical ability of the team coming in for this game is probably a bit wider, so I would imagine they would be okay in this game, and I wouldn't really see anything happening. This pretty much the same scoreline as we got to see in the last one. We'll move on to the Chelsea Sharks, or just the Sharks, however you want to refer to them. They really struggled to cope with this Lions team. There was a couple of players that did stand out. People like Koch, who was having a fantastic game. He looks like a nightmare to stop. X7's player moving into Union, playing very well. The fly half of them was having a good game as well. It's going to be tough for them to be able to deal with this, in all honesty. I think they're going to have a lot of work cut out for them. But we'll check out the team. There's no cool graphics, unfortunately, for them. It's pretty much just an article that I picked up here. But there is a bunch of changes, in all honesty. This team looks incredibly different to the team that played last week. I would almost say by too much. I will just check on screen real quick the team that played last week for a lot of the people that don't keep up so much with the South African clubs, just to see how many changes have been made from this initial team. There's so many different names, and I don't know whether that means they put on like a B team last week or they're putting on a B team this week. But I really think they're going to struggle to have so many changes in such a short amount of time, considering that I think the Lions team has actually got stronger. I feel like a couple of these people, are still going to play well. People like Koch is still going to play well. Hendrikse will still be okay. But I feel like so many switches in such a short amount of time could be a real negative for them. And it doesn't just stop even in the starting team. I mean, we'll check the replacements on screen for you guys. The replacements here as well are also going to be incredibly broad. And I think they're going to really struggle to be able to deal with this many changes in such a short amount of time. The team tactics will, of course, be maybe the same, but to have so many different changes, I'm not sure how they're going to be able to keep up with them. Hopefully, this team will work out a little bit better than the last team that played them, but we'll have to see. To me, I've just got a feeling this is going to be another Lions domination. I'm surprised they've gone for this game again. I'm not really sure what the teams are going to learn from playing this a second time. I personally am going to sit down now and think about score predictions, and I almost feel like the score's going to be worse. Now the Lions know what the Sharks are going to bring. They've mashed their team a bit now to have a bit of a stronger team, in my opinion, in terms of technical ability. I think missing people like Josh Adams and Zammit to get those breakaway run tries might mean they'll score a few less tries. However, Anthony Watson will be desperate to get some tries. Duhan van der Merwe was sort of killing that right wing. The defensive ability to shut down Duhan van der Merwe really wasn't doing a lot in the last Sharks game. So I'm going to say, as a score prediction, it's going to be in the same area. I mean, it's going to be that 40 to 45 marker again. I'll say Lions to win by 40. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to say Lions to win by 45. I think it's going to be bigger, and the defensive work in the last game from the Lions was really nice to see. They really worked well. There was a couple of tough moments for them, having to defend on their own 5-metre line and so on, trying to defend mauls, trying to manage to stop tries right on that line, and they did all of them. They really let very few points. They only conceded 7, and that 7 was just a great bit of handling play from the Sharks. There was no real pick and goes or anything, so the defensive work's certainly able to hold up. I wouldn't be surprised to see anything else other in this game. And we have to question now, what are the Lions going to take away from this game? Because they already know they can beat the Sharks. Other than just allowing other people to play the game, I don't really know what's going to happen. The team tactics must be relatively the same. They've seen the weaknesses the Sharks had, and they'll be able to just exploit them again, I would assume. I don't really know how you'd be able to shut down. The scrum from the Lions was absolutely solid. This may even be a more solid scrum this week round. I don't know if it's going to be heavier per se, but again, the technical scrummages in here I think will be good. The line-outs is one of the few areas that didn't work for the Lions last week, and this week you've now got Jamie George as captain. A bit more pressure on him. They'll want that line-out to be solid, as we almost see the Sharks here running in for their own try right at the end there. And then we have, of course, Ken Owens coming on from that bench, an absolutely solid player in the line-out. So, difficult call. I think it's just going to be a Lion smash, unfortunately, again. But of course, I'll be doing the review video for this game after the match, like I have done for all the Lions games. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. So, are you surprised to see this game happening again? Would you prefer they played a different opponent? Who do you think will win? What do you think the score difference will be? Make sure you're also doing it on the Super Brew app. I need to sit down at some point and do a video going through the the week 1 results. It's really hard to try and find time because there's so much rugby going on, but I am really enjoying it. If you have enjoyed this video, guys, make sure to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel just to keep up to date with all the latest videos as they're coming out. I hope you've all enjoyed today, guys. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.